welcome to the True Love Secret Reveal series. Today, let's give a big round of applause to our guest speaker, Rosanna Rozy Hannes. Rozy is a sacred union coach, mentor, and author who has specialized for over 20 years as an ancestral influences and early life trauma expert. So, okay, Rosie Glow, what are you going to be sharing with our audience today? I am so excited about hearing your wisdom.
Well, I figured the most helpful thing I could share with everybody is literally the process for being able to put your soul in control and to actually go through what I've discovered for me are the 6 steps to co-creating your reality consciously in alignment with your highest self rather than your wounded self-programming. And I think this is so important because if we're going to go from struggling to thriving in our relationship programming, if we're going to evolve beyond the toxic love programming into an idea of what we want to experience, because it's unique to each person. What my idea of a sacred union relationship would be different to yours, right? So it's what is unique to me and how can I actually align myself wholly and completely with it, because we can't have what we want until we are a vibrational match for it. It's already there, it already exists, but it's like you have to fit the right key in the right lock, right? So if the key is not the right key to unlock the door, it's not going to happen. And what I discovered is these 6 steps don't just work for love, they work for anything you want to create in your life. If you have made the decision that you really do want to align with coming from your highest self, because it feels important to explain that at this point, as humanity is awakening and there's all this interest in the law of attraction and in manifesting and how we can affect our reality, when we're on this journey of awakening, it's easy to think, oh, I'll just learn the rules and I'll be able to create whatever I want, whenever I want to, and everything will be just as I want it. And that's not actually how it works. Like I feel the more we grow and evolve in our own consciousness, the more we realize that it's not just our part. Everyone involved has a part to play. They have their own will. And then there's the collective will as well. So when I work with my clients, I'm really explaining to them that you have your personal story, and then there's the collective story. And there's a collective story in your family. There'll be a different story in your mother line, a different story in your father line. Then there's the story of your culture, the story of your religion, the story of your socioeconomic status, the story of, where you live, right? So these are collective stories and they have an impact on our expectations. And our expectations are the subconscious ones, particularly the ones that we're not in control of, massively impact our experience and whether we find ourselves receiving what we desire or like we're grasping for it and we can't have it. So, before I really share that image with you, because we'll speak to it and we'll go through it very, very quickly so people can understand, it doesn't just happen because we hope and we pray and we wish and then one day someone comes along and sweeps us off our feet. That's not the answer. It's really about us getting very, very clear on what we want to experience without apologizing for it. And also recognizing that with our ancestors, we inherited a legacy. Now, anything that is working well for you in your life, great. Thanks, ancestors. Thank you for the programs that I don't even have to think about it, right? But for the things that are not so easy for us, we inherited dodgy programming. It's a corrupt program in our computer system. So that needs upgrading. We need to find it, then we need to upgrade it. So detoxify and then upgrade, right? So I feel like one of the things I noticed for me was my whole life was about wanting to find the one. Everything was about wanting to find this one person that I could feel I had the kind of relationship I wanted with. Once this came into my life, that's when my real sort of bigger soul purpose came about, because now I had someone who had my back. Now I had someone who was providing me with a sense of support, right? Now I had my needs met. I was not in survival mode, firefighting every day, right? So it wasn't that he came along and just provided everything. It was more that he allowed to create a safety around me that I could relax into. And this was something I wanted. I wanted a man in my life that actually would take care of me. That was one of the things I wanted. Now, that didn't mean pay for everything, right? It meant that he, in a chivalrous kind of old-fashioned way, would have that energy around me. another, some of my clients, they want to be in relationships where they don't live together, where, they're in an open relationship. Other clients have wanted to be in thruples or polyamorous relationships. Like, whatever you want, it's okay, right? Own what you really want. That's the only way you can start to have it, right?
Oh my God, Rosie Glow. You have my undivided attention. I feel like a puppy, and you just say treat, treat, treat. That is amazing. I want to hear. I want the key to unlock my love.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me share.
I want you to let us know. I think you are good to go, but we'll see.
Okay, well, let's give it a go. I'm just gonna, yeah. Can you see?
Yes, we got
Yeah.
it.
Good. Is it showing?
Co-creative steps star map. How beautiful. Look at that. All the colors.
Now
Love it.
this is,
And is that a mandala in the middle?
yeah, this is the seed of life. Okay, so this is there's a lot for those of you who are more on a spiritual path. You probably know about the flower of life. There's the seed of life. There's also the lotus of life. And when I'm the kind of work that I tend to do with people is really around what step one is here, which is to put your soul in control, because your soul is the you that has lived all these other lifetimes, right? So when you do come in to examine your programming, some of it is bloodline programming. So it's what your ancestral stories that are through your blood, but some of it is actually soul memory. Okay. And soul memory is different, and there will be a resonance because you will have been attracted to the families that you were attracted to, because there was a resonance between lessons you've already learned as a soul and then lessons as you come to this earth. You're choosing to support your family to evolve beyond. You help them clear karma. As a result of that, you kind of evolve your soul consciousness. But I think it's very important for people to remember, because we kind of get obsessed with having readings or past life regressions. And all of this is lovely and interesting. But if you really, really want your life to change, it's learning to come from your soul. Okay, your soul, your highest self. People have talked about higher self for a very long time, but your highest self is the version of you that's having the most fun, the most grace, the most ease, the most enjoyment, fulfilling your soul mission. And anything you truly desire that you are focused on bringing into your life is part of your soul mission. Otherwise, you wouldn't desire it, right? So this is really important. So that's the first thing, is for us to really create what we really, really want, not what we want from a survival programming, but from a higher level programming, the higher self-consciousness. It's important to put our soul in control. And the way that we do that, as a simple example, is, whatever you do in the morning as your daily practice, it's calling in your highest self. For me, it's through I am statements. There are also statements that belong to each chakra that we work with when I do my coaching work with people. But ultimately, will you allow the part of you that already has what you want to guide you that day? Or will you insist on trying to drive the car of your life, your vehicle of life yourself, as the part of you that's wounded, scared, frightened of the very things you say you want? Because if you weren't scared of it, you'd have it. There's a reason you don't have it. There is a resistance to it. And that's what we need to uncover. Does that make sense?
Oh my God, it does. It does. It does. So many times we want something and we pray for something and we really, really want it, and we wonder why it's not happening. I have done all the work. Well, this is it. We need to surrender. That's what I'm hearing. Surrender to our higher self and align to that. And take us on, shows us the way. The step number one, I see, put your soul in control. Wow, that's amazing. Tell us more about that.
But what that then leads to is your second one, which is what most people on an awakening journey, I'm saying people, but obviously I know we're talking to ladies here, but really, it's recognizing awakening consciousness in humanity. So, whereas The Secret started to get us thinking about the law of attraction, and anyone who's interested in quantum physics and epigenetics understands how our perception affects our reality, right?
Yes.
When it comes to intention, we need to be clear on why we want what we want. So if you said to me, well, I just want to have a white wedding and a picket fence house, you know, I want the fairy tale. So I say to you, well, why do you want that? Well, because it will make me happy. Will it make you happy? Why do you feel it will make you happy? Well, because, you know, all the programs, the Disney movies I watched when I was a child, that's what they told me would make me happy. Or my mum told me I should want this, or my society, my religion expects this of me, right? It's like, well, is that really what you want? Or is that a duty desire, right? Is it genuinely what you want? Or is it what you have been taught you should want? So all the while that we're asking for things that we don't really want, we're definitely not going to get them, right? And just coming back to what you were saying before about praying and like, you know, I'm doing everything, why isn't it happening? Well, you know, the moment we start asking why and we start praying in a pleading kind of way, we are not masters of our reality. We are not co-creating with the divine. We are putting ourselves in a position where we're making ourselves small. So, you know, I think a lot of us know who Greg Braden is, and he talks about how, I'm trying to remember which movie it was in, but he talked about how he went to pray rain one day. And what he meant was he literally just gave thanks to the earth for the rain that was coming. So you don't need to keep repeating your request. It's been made. But what you do is important to do is to command it into your life. I'm commanding this into my life. I'm giving thanks for it. It is now here. What is important for me to be able to do, to think, to feel, to be in resonance with in order to receive this? That's what takes you to step 3, which is the conscious mind alignment. Okay. So, you know, I said in step 2, what do you want? Why do you want it? Is it coming from lack? And if we just quickly shift this to, say, money as an example, I just want to have loads of money. I want to be a millionaire. Well, why do I want to be a millionaire? So I don't have to worry about money. Well, it's kind of the other way around, right? It's, well, when you stop worrying about money, that's when you'll have more, right? So it's, we put all the emphasis on outside things. A man's going to make me happy. Getting married is going to be what makes me feel worthy. You know, having a children is going to make me feel like I've got, you know, I've made it as a woman, or whatever your story is, right? These are the things that are important for us to spend some time questioning, because they get you really, you know, in a place where you actually get clarity on what you really think it is that is outside of you, when actually it's in you as a vibration.
I remember you're saying all that, and I am thinking of a personal story. I grew up in a poor family in a developing country, and my parents fought all the time. And one of the excuses, the reasons for their fighting was money. It was always money. And so I remember being very young and thinking to myself, I am going to make a lot of money, because I thought that that's what was going to make me happy, and that's what I was going to have a problem-free life. So fast forward to, you know, I moved to the States, the land of opportunity, where all your dreams are true and all that. And searching for that, it was motivated by that in big part. And I am living in South Florida, and I am in this yacht. It's a big yacht with all these famous, successful, 6 figures, 7 figures earners, CEOs, owners of companies, drinking champagne. You know, I was young and beautiful. I had a great body. Everything was good. And I was so unhappy. And it hit me. And I am like, well, Natalia, you made it. You're here. And I realized that the pursuit of exterior things to make me happy wasn't working for me. And that's when I switched and I started to go deeper and into probably what you are going to keep explaining. But I so understand what you're saying, because I went through it. I thought that that was going to be it, and I got it. And thank God I had the clarity to stop and ask deeper questions. And my life changed dramatically after that. So I don't know, that's what came up for me.
It's a really great example what you've just shared, because I think this is the point. And you know, I've been really disappointed when I found myself in those places where you feel like on the outside you've made it, but then you're surrounded by people that don't have a lot of substance.
Right.
You know, it's quite a shallow level of existence. It's very much about appearance. And I'm not saying everyone who has money is like that at all. It's just that in general, you know, if we can understand that what is wealth? I mean, we're kind of going a little off topic, but we're not, because sacred union and wealth are very much connected to the thrive paradigm. You know, when you're many people are in a relationship, doesn't mean they're happy, right? So in the same way, many people have money, but doesn't mean they're happy, right? So I've noticed this many times when I've worked with multimillionaires and, you know, those who look wealthy on the surface, there's often a lack wound that's motivating them, right? So this can also play out as to why people cheat on their partners, why people don't commit in the first place. And all of this does come back to your early wounding. So, you know, the main thing here is really, if you really want to create the best possible circumstances in your life where you feel fulfilled and you feel inspired and you feel as though you are thriving, it's not going to be so much about the external things. They're a byproduct, but it is about living a soul-led, highest self, heart-centered existence, right? So you put your soul in control, you get clear on what you want and why you want it. You then take the steps you can take that are in your control to actually start to bring it into your life. So as an example, one of the things that's important is for us to remember that we're constantly receiving information from our environment. So, you know, does your environment, your home, your office, wherever you spend time, does it reflect what you want? Do you get that sense of being in a comfortable, safe, nurturing, like if it was a representation of your relationship, right? What does it look like? Is it cold, sterile? Is it gray? Is it silver? Is it, you know, how is it showing up for you? So there's this prayer, which I think many of us know, the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And no one's going to come and knock on your door and show up in your living room just because you're sitting there holding the vibration, right? What's important is what's in your control, you take action with. So what's your words? What's your actions? Like, what are you talking about? Are you saying, oh, there's no good men out there, all the good men are taken? Well, you know what? That's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? No one wants me. You know, everyone finds me too opinionated, or, you know, too strong, too threatening. Is that what you want to energize? Because those are your words. Words are spells, right? Same as the environment, like feng shui, definitely get into it if you haven't. And I mean, for me, I was doing everything from writing love notes to myself, like how I would like my partner to speak to me. I was buying myself gifts in the end, and I felt silly doing this, right? But I had to show myself something I'd never had before, because it was alien. The only examples I had of the kind of love that I wanted were in the movies, right? They did not exist. I hadn't seen it. So I had to make it possible in my reality. Yeah.
Right.
That's the bit that most of us sort of feel is the answer, because we're action orientated. So it's like, this is what makes me feel I'm in control, right? Is that I can do these things. But this is the third step. The conscious mind alignment is about 5 to 10% of the effort involved, right? It's the things you can do, of course, that are in your power. But it's also to remember that the subconscious, if you can imagine an iceberg, like if you're in the water and you can see the tip of an iceberg, most of it is underneath, right? So the conscious mind's at the top, you can see that, but the subconscious is where all the stories of your ancestors are playing out. So if you gave the example of the toxic love programming that you grew up around, money and love were linked. Your parents were always shouting at each other about money. Yeah. So, you know, the shouting for you as a young child, because this was very true for me as well. Love means shouting, arguing. Love means pain. Love means suffering. You know, how many of us associate love with longing for someone, unrequited love? That's not love. That's not love, right? Love, the kind of love you want to commit to, is when you really feel it for someone and they really feel it for you. So Ladies, if you're like sitting there wondering whether he is interested or not, he's not. Okay, it's really simple. He's not interested enough. Off you go, right? You deserve better than that. You're worthy of more. And, you know, if you find you go in a new direction and then he comes knocking and goes, well, where are you? Why didn't you call me back? Whatever. Well, I didn't feel like you were that interested in me, actually. You know, this is what I would like. This is what I would want. If it's something that resonates with you, great. Let's go on another date. But if not, don't waste my time.
Right. Oh my goodness, Rosie, thank you for sharing all that.
You're
Thank
welcome. Let's skip through to a little bit just to the end of it because there's
Yes, let's keep going. Okay.
I think that the most
You're amazing.
what I'd like to say about the subconscious programming is this is the bit that takes someone else to support you, okay?
Okay.
Because there are things that you can see, and you know, I'm sure everyone here, you're doing YouTube videos, you're doing webinars, you're doing tele summits, you're reading the right books, but you know, these things chip away at things until you actually really take a deep dive and trust someone else who already has what you want, you know. So I wouldn't go to a relationship coach who isn't in a happy and healthy relationship, right? That wouldn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
You would borrow the program, but also remember that what they have isn't necessarily what you know, you want to find someone that is in resonance with what you want. And you can say, okay, that's the kind of thing I want to open up to. So in the end, being yourself, being able to be in an authentic relationship with another person where you can show up and you can say, this upsets me, this gets me to smile, you know, this shuts me down, and you're not having to play games with someone. This is really important, right? Because the subconscious is the bit that's not in your control, and it does require a process to detox and reprogram. And as I said at the start, we have our own personal experiences that we've been through. So say maybe your first love, you had sex and then they ditched you, they went for someone else, so you started to feel that if you have sex with someone, they're going to leave you, right? That's a pattern that can happen. That's your own experience. It's not necessarily true, but because you thought that, and then you go into the next connection with that expectation, you're putting that energy out that makes it likelier to happen again. So this is again how we participate in the co-creation of our reality through our conscious and subconscious expectations.
Wow.
That's direct experience. Then you have inherited experience. You have what you saw your parents. So whatever you grew up around under the age of 7 is what you consider normal in terms of love, right? And anything else in your life. That what you saw, again, you had a direct experience of, though you probably don't remember a lot of it. Then there's the stories in your bloodlines that are stories that maybe never got talked about. Like, for example, you know, we had the First and the Second World War, which affected most of us. There's also, you know, civil wars, genocides that have gone on all around the world.
Right.
So no one processed that trauma back then. So if there's a story of the fact that, you know, your great grandmother had a baby with someone else, you know, she passed it off as your great granddad's baby, but actually it wasn't your great granddad's baby, it was someone else's. Or, you know, the granddad ran off with another woman during the war because he never thought he was going to come home. There's all sorts of stories that can play out. And what we do is we end up, to try and understand something that happened in our ancestry, we tend to recreate it subconsciously. Think about how many single mums have children that then also end up single mums who have children that also end up single mums. It's the expectation, right? The behavior. We now know, when I was at school, we thought it was 50% nature, 50% nurture in terms
I
of,
know, I remember
yeah?
that.
But it's not. It's actually 20% nature, 80% nurture, right? According to Bruce Lipton. So this plays a big part. So if you can understand that, as I said, direct experience is your own experience that you remember, your own experiences that are younger than you remember, and then there's the stories that came through that maybe have been talked about, maybe haven't, that are all part of your programming. Then you've got all the societal, cultural, familial, religious, even our gender-based programming, right? So all of that has to be dealt with. And this is a big part of what I do in my coaching. All of these steps are things that we cover in the programs that I run, my signature program, which is a 6-month program. What it leads you to then is the next step, which is, imagine that subconscious program reprogramming is where you have a garden and you go into your garden and you decide to pull up all the flowers, plants you don't like, all the weeds, and you take care of the soil. You decide what you want to put in there. This is everything that I'm taking you to now, step 4 to step 5. You've planted your seeds, you've nurtured the soil, you've got sunlight, you've got water, you've got all of it. They just need time to grow in their own divine timing. What you're faced with step 5, blind spot discovery and fine tuning, is how your current consciousness is either helping those seeds to grow or not. So you said earlier, like, why aren't they growing yet? What's going on? Shouldn't they be? Have I done something wrong? Maybe I should dig them up and see if they grow. No, you leave them. And it's about trusting yourself and saying, okay, well, what is here? What is here? What am I seeing in relationship to what I want? The vibration I'm putting out is this. Why am I getting this back? So say you're on a dating app. You put out a profile that you feel is really in resonance with you. You put the kind of pictures up that you think, okay, this really represents how I want to be seen. And then you get these guys coming along that just Mr. Not interested, not that committed. That's when you can say, all right, somewhere here, I just have to say no to these things I don't want, so I'm really clear. I don't have to try to find it in them. They're not the right people. They're not in resonance. So say no. They're coming towards me because they see my light, but they're not a match for what I'm asking for. So we have to be discerning. And then, is there something I need to tweak in me? Maybe I have to raise my expectations a bit more, lower my tolerance levels. And that way I can be more of a match. There was a very powerful thing that happened for me just before my husband and I got together. And that was that I was knocking around with another guy. He was supposed to just be a summer fling, but I got hooked on him after I'd been in a 10-year on-off relationship. And it was because he wasn't that interested, but I was kind of invested, right?
Right.
2 weeks before my 40th birthday, I said to him, all right, we were together for 3 months. 18 months have gone by where it's a cat and mouse game. I think we're going to get together. Then I say the wrong thing and you disappear for a bit. And it was just really annoying. I just said to him, look, I'm turning 40. I want to get married. I want a ring on my finger. I want to be with someone who really wants to be with me. I want a commitment. So if that's what you want, can you just move to the left and let them come in? He moved to the left and I was devastated, right? For 1 week. But what happened after that was my husband literally rang me up. He's someone I'd known a few years before. He hadn't been available to me before that. He was married to someone else. It was a very toxic, situation he had to get out of. I stood my line. I said, I don't want to be a mistress. I want to be the main woman. So, if that's not going to happen with you, it will be with someone else. Thank you for the inspiration that men like you exist. That, yeah.
Wow.
And that was that. Which leads us, because I had to say no to what I don't want to say yes to what I do want, right? You can't make people what you want them to be. You have to accept them for what they are.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's step 6, self-mastery, surrendering control to your soul. Step 1 is put your soul in control. Step 6 is surrender control to your soul. Because this is when you trust divine timing. This is when you know nothing that's for you will go past you. This is when you know you'll get your chance again, that the right person will not be the one that got away, right? They'll come back. But you have to honor yourself, and self-mastery is about asking for the very best for everyone, creating the win-win-win. It's about allowing yourself to keep practicing that faith that things are working out, holding the line and maintaining being the vibrational match for what you want, not dipping down. It's not lowering your standards just so you can have someone.
Right.
Equally, and this ties into blind spot discovery and fine tuning, you want to be careful about where you've put a wall around you, an invisible wall that makes it almost impossible for someone to penetrate that, to be able to come. So those are the steps, my friend.
Oh my goodness. That has been incredibly enlightening, and I cannot wait. Please, ladies, please, please, please send me a message. I want to hear what is coming up for you, what you are learning, what insights you are getting. This has been gold. Rozy Glow, you should be on, I don't know, on Oprah.
I don't think she's doing anything anymore, is she?
Yes, she's not doing anything. That's aging me because I don't know who is the next one. Drew Barrymore, I think she has a show.
Yeah, we'll go to Drew. If you know her, let me know.
Yeah. Anyway, amazing, amazing. I love it how you put it all, you tied it up at the end. The first step is put your soul in control. And the number 6 step, the last step, is surrender control to your soul. So just leave it, just you have done all the work, you are aligned to your desires, you are aligned to your higher self. Now is surrendering and following through with what your higher self is sharing with you and taking inspired action and all that. So that has been amazing, unbelievable, unbelievable, Rosie Glow. Thank you so much. I know you have a gift for the ladies. Would you mind to share it? Because this doesn't end here. And the gift, by the way, is going to be on the description box of this video. So when you finish watching or right now, click next to her Rosie's bio and the gift link is going to be there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I figured that probably the most helpful thing for anyone who's really serious about doing this work, because as I said, it's for me, everything changed when I realized I couldn't do it on my own. I'd got myself as far as I could, and then I needed some expert advice. And, it was through working with someone that I felt safe to be seen, that I thought was going to be loving and kind to me as I saw reflected back to me where I was not a vibrational match for what I wanted, and to be lovingly nurtured into it. So, it's important that whoever you decide is the right person for you to work with, to trust someone, right? Your heart will tell you, don't worry about what your head says. Your heart will say, I feel good with this person. They inspire me. I feel safe. I love what they're saying. That's a good sign, because you'll still be scared. You'll be scared, right?
Yeah.
Change is not something that we tend to go, yay, go on, bring it. So we get used to that. But what I thought would be helpful was to offer everybody here a masterclass that I created a while ago, which is the Sacred Union Masterclass. And that really takes what I said deeper, so that you can really explore a little bit more about your own story. And I've also, as part of that masterclass, given you the opportunity to have a call with me if you're serious about wanting to do some deeper work. All of my work, there's options for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 figures, right? Ultimately, it's starting somewhere. And the important thing is to remember that wherever you are on your journey, make a commitment to the next step. Stretch yourself to the next step, okay? Because when you do that, that's when things start to happen. If you're waiting to be ready, you will never be ready, right?
Oh, goodness.
So yes, that's the idea. So there's a Sacred Union call that comes with it. It's a half-hour call in total. And what I invite you to do is book the call, and then you can watch the masterclass while you're waiting for the call. I do have limited availability, so just get on it straight away. If it's something that you're like, I really, really want to do, let me know. My program runs all through the year, so we can literally start you a week after if you decide that you would like to go. And to give everyone a sense of what's possible, there are options with me to have one-off sessions that bring you results just like that. But obviously, if you do really want to go through the transformational journey that will allow you to be holding the new frequency, that's a 6-month process. Okay, just so everyone is clear on that.
Wow, that's wonderful. Please, ladies, take advantage of this and just get in touch with Rosie Glow. The link, as I said, is underneath, so you can't miss it. Thank you so much, Rosie. Thank you, thank you. You were amazing. You were brilliant.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for having the inspiration to put this all together, because it's so needed. I would have loved this. I would have loved this.
Me too. That's why, because I know what it is to not have anything. So thank you.